Replay. We find out what happens when you make a few too many tweaks to your deck without keeping the bigger picture in mind. Can Syr Gwyn fight through some awkwardness? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have 2 new Patreon supporters in Joshua Mitchner and Justin R. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. And be sure to use the TCG affiliate player link as it helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. Well, welcome back everyone, playing some Syr Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale today. Take a look at this opening hand. We've got 3 lands, we got a pretty good amount of mana ramp, we got Inspiring Statuary, a new card I'm testing out in this deck, we'll see. It wasn't great in Aurelia, but I have high hopes that it might work in this deck. We've also got Smothering Tithe, which is very good. We've got a Toll Collector. As soon as we find some equipments, we can get them equipped for free. And we've got a little bit of removal, so we've got pretty much everything except card draw and equipments, and hopefully we'll draw into some of that as we get going, but we do have some fairly strong opponents today. First up, we have Cadus piloting the Locust God, going to be pretty powerful. Gonna look to do the Ashnod's Altar Skull Clamp thing on top of wheels and draw and all kinds of stuff. Next up, we have Helix 416 piloting Krav and Regna, and that deck can value super hard. And then finally, we have Camlic 2 piloting Freyalise Llanwar's Fury. Notably, you'll notice on there it says destroy target artifact or enchantment. That's really bad for us. There's a Kaya's Guile. Don't know that we needed more removal, but we found it. Play the Dragon Skull Summit tapped, and we'll pass the turn like that. So once again, we're playing Syr Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale, 6 mana for a 5/5 Vigilance Menace. Whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Built-in card draw. And then finally it says, equipments you control have equipped Knight 0. So you can free equip to all your Knights, which is super awesome. This is an interesting deck. So, you know, my opinion of Syr Gwyn right now is that they overcosted her by 1. I think she should really be about 5 mana. 6 is a lot. Once she gets blown up, it's a really bad place to be. Ooh, that's a Soul Ring right there. Yeah, once she's gone, though, it's pretty hard to get her back into play and do all this stuff, especially if you don't have the right equipments. Like, if you don't have a haste equipment in play, it can be really slow to get back on your feet again. And that is a problem that I've noticed with this deck. It is just soft to removal. I don't know how to fix that. I've been trying various things here and there. It didn't quite make the list today, but Faith Shield is actually a pretty good card, kind of a little trick out of a feather deck. But yeah, just having a spell to protect yourself from some sort of spot removal is a really good place to be. Also, since it gives protection, can be unblockable from a color if you need that. But the problem I was having, so I was tinkering with the deck right before the game, and there's like, you know, there's probably 10 extra cards that I don't have room for that I want to get into the deck, and it's just been really tough to try to budget everything in and figure out exactly what's important to you. That's a Whirlpool Rider. So there's a wheel opponent. This one only affects opponent, so it doesn't affect us, which is good news. We actually have a pretty decent hand. We are going to want to try to get things out of our hand quickly. End step Vampiric Tutor for the Krav and Regna opponent, so probably going for a Mana Rock, I would guess. Problem right here is, so like if Freyalise, we can't just rush into Smothering Tithe. If Freyalise comes in, it can just shoot our Smothering Tithe. But Smothering Tithe is so good against what the Locust God wants to do. Tough place to be. Soul Ring for opponent. Yep, there's the Mana Rock. I think I'm probably on Inspiring Statuary when it comes back to our turn. Unless for some reason, if we draw something really cool to try to get onto the Kazul the following turn, maybe we go that way, but Gaia's Herald. Creatures can't be countered. Yeah. That is all creatures, by the way, so that would actually help us as well. There's a Scavenger Grounds. Let's get the Strip Mine into play. Yeah, and then we'll go for the Inspiring Statuary. Nothing we can do with it in this moment, so we'll pass the turn. Sword of the Animus for opponent. Yep. Potential target if that Freyalise comes in. Let's read all the modes on Kaya's Guile again. I just added this back into the deck because I found myself missing it the last time that I played this deck. The modes are each opponent sacrifices a creature, pretty good. Exile all cards from each opponent's graveyard, also very good. Create a 1/1 white-black spirit creature token, relevant against Fleshbag Marauders, things like that, and you gain 4 life. You never know when that'll keep you alive long enough to hit someone back on a big swing. So, all pretty good modes. Ooh, that's Alhamret's Archive, alright. So there's some big nasty artifacts in play now that may be able to take some of the heat away from Smothering Tithe if we go that route. Opponent's on Freyalise mana right here. Oh, that's a Beast Whisperer. So, you know, there's going to be such a catch-22 right here of, ooh, that's a Sulfurous Blast. We don't have a second red mana. Ouch. Too many utility lands. Play the Scavenger Grounds. We have 5 total mana. I say we try the Smothering Tithe. It may get shot, but at least if we get a couple treasures, we can get Gwyn in. We can also cast the Painful Truths. If opponents, depending on what opponents do, we have a lot of removal in hand. And that's kind of the way that I have this deck set up right now. I have this deck set up to be able to answer a lot of different things. Ooh, opponent paying for the Smothering Tithe. All right. Oh, they're going to bounce it. All right. Never mind. Well, we'll still get a treasure then. And actually, we can use the Inspiring Statuary to be able to tap the treasure for mana without having to sacrifice it, which is kind of cool, unless we do need the color for some reason. Ooh, Locust God stuck on lands. That's how you beat a Locust God. Ooh, that's an Endrixar. It's a pretty serious card. But yeah, anyway, this deck has been pretty tricky, trying to figure out exactly which things you want, which things you don't. Trying to find, I think one of the big questions in this deck is how many creatures do you run? I don't have a great answer. If you really want to go hard Voltron, it's probably going to be something around like 12 or 13 creatures. If you want a little bit more balance in your gameplay, maybe something up between like 17 and 20. You know, the problem is you can't run like 12 pieces of ramp with 12 pieces of removal with a whole bunch of equipments and have a whole bunch of creatures. You need to cut from one of those. Like, there just isn't enough slots in your deck to be able to cover all of those areas. And it's been pretty tricky. It's been pretty tricky to figure out. It's also kind of this weird thing, too, of like, you know, if you can just keep making your land drops with this deck, and you can force it to the late game. Syr Gwyn is really the type of card that's going to be better late than it is early, just because it's so glassy early. Once you have a bunch of mana, you know, if you have 12 mana in play, then it's not too bad to try and recast Gwyn, and then you can free equip everything onto it. But getting the game to that point is, that can be tricky. Looks like an elf deck from opponent. Yeah, I'm seeing all elves over there. They got a Descendants Path, so yeah, most definitely elf tribal. I mean, do we fumigate yet? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Opponent's got some extra mana over there with the Mana Dorks. There's a Fervent Champion. No equipment yet. We do have Gwyn mana. We'd have to sacrifice the treasure for that. Meh. So with opponent bouncing our Smothering Tithe, that actually kept them from using the Sword of the Animus. I mean, I think they're better off just leaving Smothering Tithe right there. And yeah, I think, okay, let's recast the Smothering Tithe. Oh, what to do with Fervent Champion. If we find an equipment, but, I mean, we probably need to wipe the board next turn. Yeah, Fervent Champion's 1 mana, so that being the case, we can hold up mana. We can actually hold up for, like, Kaya's Guile. If we get 2 mana, we can Sulfurous Blast, but things starting to get out of range of the Sulfurous Blast. Smothering Tithe trigger. Opponent lets this one go. So we've got Kaya's Guile if we need it. Yeah, opponent's going to equip the sword. Do we Kaya's Guile right now? Probably. Because that would get rid of Endrixar. Also, it stops this land from happening. Yeah, I think that's what we do. We can gain 4 life, or we can make a spirit. I think I like the spirit. So we'll Kaya's Guile, force everyone to sacrifice. They tried to put us a turn behind with the Smothering Tithe play, so we'll put them behind with the Sword of the Animus right here, assuming they don't have a counter. Ooh, they do. It's a Narset's Reversal, so at least we don't lose it. Opponent's going to naturalize the Smothering Tithe. Ugh. Alright, well, that being the case then, probably just going to fumigate on our turn. Although we kind of need Painful Truths also. Opponent's going to path on the Rishkar. I would have gone for the Beast Whisperer, probably. But bunch of removal flying off right here. Endrick goes down. And Gaia's Herald goes down to the copied Kaya's Guile. Opponent will get an attack with the Sword of the Animist. Yep. So we take 2, down to 38. Resplendent Angel for opponent. Phyrexian Altar. Descendant Path for opponent. Let's see what they find. Not a creature. Cool. There's probably like 40 creatures in that deck, though. They're going to hit one eventually. Here comes Freyalise. Makes an elf. See, they always make an elf when I'd really rather they just, like, shoot one of these highly impactful artifacts in play. Opponent lays down a Beastmaster Ascension. That's pretty nasty. Opponent goes attacking with the Beast Whisperer, and it's going to put a counter on the Beastmaster. Yep. There's a Mistveil Plane, so we can keep our land drops going. That's good news. I think we Painful Truths right here. So if we play the land, that puts us down to 6. If we play that, that puts us down to 5. We'll still be 1 over. Potentially, we could cast, like, a Fervent Champion. Yeah, I think we got to do it. Oh, we only have 2. No, black. Yeah, okay, we have 3 colors. So let's go black, white, red. So we'll draw 3, lose 3. Draw a bunch of things. Okay. Could potentially get a 3rd land in untapped. We have the Inspiring Statuary, which gives us essentially a 4th mana. We've got a Feast and Famine, which I badly want to get into play. Oh, we don't have red mana. Damn it. The colors have not been kind to us. Drawing 2 utility lands on our opener was pretty rough. Maybe just Feast and Famine then. Get it out of the hand in case a wheel happens. Yeah, because then next turn we could potentially go like Fervent Champion, Fumigate, something like that. Okay. We do need to play the untapped land. We can't use the artifact to cast the artifact, so that's something to think about. So play the Isolated Chapel and cast Feast and Famine. And that puts us to 7 cards in hand, and we'll pass turn like that. There's a Venser's Journal. Oof. No max hand size. At the beginning of your upkeep, gain 1 life for each card in your hand. Yep. I'm going to send the Whirlpool Rider over to the Freyalise. Hopefully this stirs up a little bad blood right here. Sword of the Animist will trigger. Ooh, opponent's going to block with the 1/1. Cool. Yeah, opponent's not that far away from the draw mode on Freyalise. I guess they're low on cards, so they kind of do need to draw a bit. But they've got Beast Whisperer, too. Yeah, I don't know. If I played a Freyalise deck, I would be... When Freyalise comes in, I would be down-ticking that thing, like, every single time. You got stuff like this... the Elhamret's Archive, Phyrexian Altar, even the Sword of the Animist is worth shooting. Also our Feast and Famine. Mana Vault for opponent, yep. Regna, it gets the partner. Resplendent gonna swing into the Freyalise, sure. Opponents are distracted by the Planeswalker right now, it's good news for us. Opponent passes with 3 open mana, that's not my favorite. Descendant's Path for the Freyalise. Ooh. Hits a Dwynnin Guiltleaf Dane. Yep, reach. Other creatures get +1/+1. When it attacks, you gain 1 life for each attacking elf you control. A lot of abilities on that card. I always forget about the reach, and that messes with my Aurelia deck pretty badly. Opponent's going to keep upticking the Freyalise. Gaia's Cradle for a bunch of mana. Yup. Here comes Voice of the Woods. Tap 5 untapped elves you control. Create a 7/7 green elemental creature token with Trample. There's one I don't usually see in the elf decks. It's pretty cool, though. I'd like to make an elemental creature. In my estimation now, in the elf decks that I see, that one seems like it gets left off a lot, and people have opted to go for, you know, newer stuff. Oh, no, what is this? And so, Hall of the Gemstone, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses a color until end of turn. Lands tap for mana, produce the chosen color instead of any other color. That is awful. All right, so we can only make red mana. Awesome. Once we send the Beast Whisperer over to us for 4. We could do something at instant speed. We don't have that much. That's great. The Sulfurous Blast, Kaya's Guile, those don't solve the problem right now. Red mana gets us the Fervent Champion, which allows us to swing. Fumigate. Fumigate isn't terrible right now. Fumigate or Fervent Champion. What else does... Sulfurous Blast could kill a decent number of elves. Doesn't kill Regna, kills the Resplendent, kills those 2. Yeah, I guess we're going red. Don't love it. That's an Austere Command. All right, that gives us an out. But I'm sure we're going to get wheeled. Like, I know that's what's going to happen. All right. Play the Mistveil Plains. Play Fervent Champion. Free equip the sword. Play the Champion's Helm. Equip the Champion's Helm. Swing into the green opponent. Lens untap. Opponent has to discard. Question I have is Mistveil Plains affected by the Hall of the Gemstone? I don't know that like changes anything. It's just kind of a question that I have. It is not. It can make white mana. Wait, make white mana? Nope, it makes red. Okay. What are we doing next? Sulfurous Blast on 3. What does that kill? It doesn't kill the thing over there. It does get rid of these 2, though. Stops the Sword of the Animist. Kills a Resplendent Angel. Kind of slows them down a little. Gets rid of a couple elves. Does not get rid of the entire army of elves. Relevant, though, in that it makes Beastmaster Ascension. What's the difference between 2 and 3? That doesn't get hit by 3. Yeah, I mean, it's not backbreaking, but it slows opponents down a little bit, so... Guess that's what we're doing. I know what we can do. We can do this a little bit differently. Ooh, we got a Strip Mine. Might want to think about shooting the Gaia's Cradle. So make... red mana. Oh, that makes colorless. Colorless doesn't seem to be working right. So make 2 red mana, use the artifacts, 4 mana, and cast the Sulfurous Blast. Again, it's not backbreaking, but it does slow them down a little bit. So blow up a few creatures right there. Not too bad, not too bad. We could Kaya's Guile at some point, so... And that would hit one of 2 pretty reasonable creatures to get rid of in the elf deck, either the Beast Whisperer or the Dane. Both are good to get rid of. If a Locust God comes down here, we're probably on the Kaya's Guile. One's going to crack the Myriad Landscape, get some lands, yep. Ooh, yeah, opponent's struggling under the color lock of Hall of the Gemstone right there. We could Kaya's Guile. No, the Hall of Gemstone already resolved. Opponent gonna float some mana. Maybe they got something at instant speed. Oh, nope. Maybe untapping the vault. Yep, so they untap the mana vault. Maybe, maybe they're stuck also. We've got opponents low. It's not a terrible place to be. Here comes Krav. I don't know if I really want to deal with both of these in play. Sacrifice X creatures. Player draws. Well, we can't. Yeah, never mind. We don't have the colors. All the gemstone. It's gonna partner. Opponent doesn't appear to have any black mana up. They could sacrifice a creature. I don't know if they would sacrifice one of their commanders. Krav and Regna are very slow. I kind of have eyes to blow up the artifacts and enchantments in this game. I know it'll hit us a little bit, so I'm hoping we can find a Boros Charm first. Ooh, nice. Opponent's going to swing into the Freyalise. Well, with that being the case, we're going to strip mine this Gaia's Cradle. Freyalise goes down. Descendant's Path, Hall of the Gemstone. With those on the stack, we're going to Kaya's Guile. So, what do we want for our second mode? Graveyards, maybe? It's not that much in the graveyard. There's nothing like crazy in there. How do I feel about a 1/1 white flyer? Could be relevant, right? Could move swords to it. Gain some life. And maybe we'll just exile the graveyards just to make sure that Gaia's Cradle doesn't come back. So we'll pay using the sword. So opponent gets rid of Dwinin. And still got the Beast Whisperer, so we're gonna. Looks like they're trying to rely on the card draw. Exiles the graveyards. Hall the Gemstone will trigger. Maybe I don't want Austere Command yet. Dryad Arbor for opponent. Here comes Freyalise back to play. Sure. Feast and Famine could be a prime target right here. That might change how I play things. If that gets shot. Yep, there goes the Feast and Famine. Feast and Famine down. That was the mana ramp that we so badly needed. I'm hoping for like a Sword of the Animist, Fire and Ice off the top would be good. Really need like a value generating equipment in this moment. Wouldn't say no to a Sinew and Steel, but probably the Fire and Ice first. Back to our turn, Hall of the Gemstone. I think I'm on white right here. It's a Nomad Outpost. Well, can't swing past any of this. Can't swing past the 3/4. It's kind of a headache. So I guess we just do some pokes. Oh no, I just realized opponent's got Alhamret's Archive, which means they can draw double with the Krav. That's a Kozilek Butcher of Truth. Opponent's going to draw 4 cards. Well, that should soak up some attention. Yeah, that's what Sword of the Animist does. Allows you to get into stuff like that. We're kind of stuck. Ooh, that's an Archangel of Thune. Yeah, those are pretty good. Do they sacrifice that to draw 2? That's a tough call. Opponent's going to swing into the Freyalise once again. Kata said if we leave them alone, they'll swing into the green player and try to get rid of the Hall of the Gemstone. Yeah. Whoa. So opponent sent their Krav into the green player, but they block with Beast Whisperer. Beast Whisperer being a 3/4, killed the Krav. Don't know what the significance of doing that was. Is that a punt? Yep, they just made misplay. Yep. So Hall of the Gemstone trigger and Descendants trigger. Opponent did not hit anything. Creates an elf with Freyalise. Oh, that's a Kindred Summons. So that'll get them, what, 3? 3 elves? Well, we could Austere Command, go like small creatures, and doesn't get Beast Whisperer, doesn't get, they got Elise Alana. We're going to send a little poke our way. Beastmaster Ascension going to get 2 more counters on it. Hall of the Gemstone continuing to trigger. Choose them white. We draw an Ancient Den. Might just hang on to that in case we got a Austere Command. Can't really attack anywhere. So, I mean, it's got to be small creatures. That gets rid of 1, 2, 3 of their creatures. Enchantments gets rid of Beastmasters and Hall of the Gemstone, but leaves so many mana rocks behind. Ugh. But Artifacts hits us also, which I don't love. And I really don't want to, like, not do anything this turn, but I guess we can attack and, like, eat 1. Swing into the Freyalise. Yep, they're going to block with a 1/1. If I play the Austere Command, it kind of changes the balance of power, and it does mean there's some chance that we just, like, die to Beastmaster Sense and stuff, but opponent's probably going to have to sacrifice a bunch of things, so I think I'm just going to hold it. Play the Ancient Den. Oh, that makes white mana. Oh, right, I chose white. Yep. Everything makes white mana. Pass the turn. Ideally, too, maybe we can get Locust God to use another card to try and deal with some of the blockers. Because they've got 6 cards, everyone else is on like 0. So there goes the Kozilek. There's an Annihilator 4. Let's see how the green player wants to handle this. So they're going to get rid of the Hall of the Gemstone. They figure maybe if that's gone, then they won't get attacked. But Beastmaster Ascension, definitely still a problem. So they lose Dryad Arbor, Hall of Gemstone, Slippery Karst. Yeah, trimming back those resources. Opponent, ooh, no blocks. Opponent goes down to 20. Ouch. Wind Reader Sphinx. Whenever a creature with flying attacks, you may draw a card. That seems absurd. Probably going to Fumigate on our turn. Maybe Austere Command if it makes sense to. Regna back to play. Yep. Oh, yep, that's going to be good. Yeah, we definitely need to Fumigate on our turn. Opponent's going to swing into the Freyalise, sure. Oh, the Sphinx gets to draw a card. Wow, that's ridiculous. Got to watch out for another counterspell. Opponent's got 6 cards in hand. It's not great. Freyalise goes down. Archangel of Thune triggers. Pumps up the team a little bit. Regna will get an end-step trigger. Yep. The machine has started. Descendant's Path trigger. Hero's Bane. Nice. Sword of the Animus for the green player. That's an Enlightened Tutor. That will be helpful next turn. Doesn't help us so much this turn. I suppose we could cast Syr Gwyn, use the Enlightened Tutor. What do we get with the Enlightened Tutor? I don't even know at this moment. We're so far behind. Argentum Armor? It's a card. Artifact or enchantment that generates tons of value. Helm of the Host. Hammer for the Indestructible is kind of cool. We have no real attacks anywhere. So I think we just try this Fumigate. Oh, he's gonna Swan Song. Kidding me. We have a bird. Play Kazuls. And we'll leave up the Enlightened Tutor, I guess. Hope we don't get hit with a Kozilek. Yeah, we don't really have any attacks. Maybe Sunforger. Sunforger can fix a lot of problems. We do have Mistveil Plains. We need a second white permanent. Actually, we need a first white permanent. We've only got one. Sword of the Animist onto the Kozilek. Opponent's rolling a dice to see who gets it. Triggers, can't see where it's attacking. It's kind of annoying. Krav and Regna got it, which is probably who should get it because we're about to see this engine take off right here. Opponent sacrifices, Phyrexian Altar and Mana Vault. Is that only Annihilator 2? No, it's Annihilator 4. Oh, and the 2 tokens. Yeah, okay. Man, Phyrexian Altar's a big sack. They still got the Alhamret's Archive, though. Here comes Krav into play, yep. About to see that value engine. Partner will trigger. 2 open mana. Opponent's going to attack. Locust God draws 2. Yep. Blowing up big creatures is a good idea on our turn. But we can't Sunforger and Austere Command all on the same turn. Archangel of Thune's going to put a +1/+1 counter on everything. Yep. Also, Locust God passed with a full grip of mana. I'm sure that can't mean good things. Descendant's Path trigger. Also, opponent got 2 tokens at the end step off of Regna from gaining the life. Opponent hits... What'd they hit? An Elvish Mystic. That'll trigger the Lisa Lana and the Beast Whisperer. That's a cast? Cast that card for free. Wow, yeah. So you do get the cast triggers. That's pretty cool. I need the green player to do something to kind of bait whatever nonsense Katus has in his hand. One's a land. It's not going to do it. Equip the Sword of the Animist. If opponent swings everything, that's going to put the 7th counter on the Beastmaster Ascension. That would actually hurt quite a bit. Yep, that's what they're doing. I'm down for it. And this should hopefully force some interaction. Don't want to get rifted on our turn. They're going to Chaos Warp on the Beastmaster Ascension. Okay. So it's not going to be that big of a hit, really. Opponent's going to put some counters on the Hero's Bane. Sure. Still a lot of open mana over there. Looks like exactly Rift mana. Awesome. Ooh, that's an Aetherize. Okay. Off a Rift mana. Cool. Opponent will get to search for a land. The Aetherize is interesting right there because if they cast the Beastmaster Ascension first, I don't think they have the mana for it, but if they did, next turn, presumably, they'll be able to draw a bunch when they recast everything. It's kind of interesting, but it does slow them down. Re-equips the sword, sure. Go to the end step, Enlightened Tutor time. This is kind of where, like, I wish I had the combo with Sunforger, but we do not. Could also try an Argentum Armor. I don't think we have enough for that, though. No, we definitely don't. Yep. Grab Sunforger. Not overly hopeful that, like, it's going to resolve. Draw the Sunforger. Cast the Sunforger. Oh, how much... I'm sure we probably don't even have enough. Oh, no, we have 3 equips. Right, okay. Use colorless. White. Cast Sunforger. Watch it get countered. Ooh, it resolved. Nice. Equip to the Fervent Champion. Swing Indicatus. Takes a hit for 7, puts him down to 41. Let's activate the Sunforger. Probably need to get rid of the Kozilek. Part of me also just wants to tithe for the lands. Ugh. I feel like the life is the least impactful right now. He's got a lot of mana. I don't want to give him more mana. So, swords on the Kozilek. Maybe a path was better there. I don't know. I'm leaving up Anguished Unmaking just in case we can react. So, just to make sure that we can react to whatever nastiness we need to react to. We'll put the Sun Forager... put the Sun Forager on the Kazul. We'll move the Champion's Helm over as well, just so we have a bigger blocker on the ground. A lot of things are flying. I don't know that it matters that much, but, you know. Present a big blocker. He's on so much mana. He's on, like, what, 15 mana? Oh, this is going to be bad. 15 mana, a lot of cards, plus a Locust God. I think I put a red elemental... Yes, I did put a red elemental blast in the deck. So we do have that as an option. Opponent's going to Imprison in the Moon on our Kazul's Toll Collector. Can't say I love that. Well, that being the case, I'm going to peace out with the Sun Forager and use the Teferi's protection. Or we could just Red Elemental Blast, but like, then we're wide open to attack. Yeah, we should Teferi's. I think big turns will be happening in this cycle. See if this gets countered. It might. So we Teferi's protect. We're out. Just going to take a little break. Watch everyone else play for a second. Hope they kill each other. Here comes the Locust God. Mana Vault. Gilded Lotus. It's going to draw and discard with the Locust God. Okay. That could have been worse. So a lot of mana rocks and the Locust God is basically what happened. Opponent will draw one. We'll draw, yeah, that Sphinx. It's going to be good. Opponent going to send 2 attackers over to the Krav and Regna. And they'll get to draw 2 cards, which will make 2 more tokens. Yep. Opponent gets in some damage. Krav and Regna down to 30, but they can gain life like crazy. Ooh, yeah. Alright, so opponent activates Krav, draws 2 cards, gains some life. That triggers the Archangel of Thune. Yeah, that's pretty good. These things are about to get large. Actually, I think they should have done this during the main phase, and then Regna would have triggered again. Yep. They're still pretty big, though. Got an 2 8/8s and a 7/8. Yeah. Talisman. Ooh, Grave Pact. That's not good. Opponent's got 1 activation of black mana that I can tell. Sacrifice X creatures. They can sacrifice multiple creatures, which is not amazing. Opponent attacks with the Archangel of Thune. That'll trigger the Wind Reader, Sphinx. Locust God will get a counter. Freyalise shoot the Grave Pact? Elves down to 9. They hurtin'. Second land, now 2 activations on Krav. Kai'Sa coming into play. Sweet card. That was off of the Descendants path. Genesis Storm. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land permanent. You may put all the cards onto the battlefield, rest onto the bottom, and copies for the number of times you've cast your commander. So they're going to get 3 of them. That doesn't look great for them. Is it land or non-land? You reveal a non-land permanent, so they get a sword. Okay, sword is okay. Cavalier of Claw. It's going to make some bear tokens. Non-token creature put into your graveyard, so that's none at this moment. And a Song of the Dryads. That's a pretty good card. I would say the Grave Pact. Well, they put it on the Locust God. Okay, so they don't want any of the Locust God. Grave Pact's still a problem. Ghost Quarter. Beast Whisperer coming back. Yep, opponent's going to main phase 2. So they're going to make a mana with the Pristine Talisman. That'll allow Regna to make more creatures. Assumingly, alright, so if we go big creatures and enchantments, then opponent will probably sack a million things that'll basically turn into a board wipe anyway. Brings back to our turn. There's a land. Play the land. Move to equip the Sun Forager. See if this actually works. It's going to be 4 Grave Pact triggers on the stack. Cool. Anything we can do about that? I do not believe so. Sacrifice the bird. Kazul. Fervent Champion. If we blow up the enchantments, the Locust God comes back. What's going to draw double with the Krav? Somehow opponent's Beast Whisperer survived all that. Who knows how that happened? Alright, total pull, and I won't board wipe right here, but they have to attack everyone else first. So if we Austere Command and blow up the Grave Pact, then the Locust God just comes back, and like that doesn't... We probably lose to that when that happens, so... Plus they're at 60 life. As big as these things are, they still have a little ways to go to actually be lethal on that. That's insane. So opponent's going to activate the Krav again, and that'll trigger the Grave Pact and get rid of the Sphinx finally. Ooh, interesting. Opponent's going to disperse and return the Song of the Dryads. The Locust God draws a card, will trigger. Sacrifices an insect. And Archangel of Thune will trigger. Mana Vault Locust God on the draw step. Wow, that's a Vandal Blast. That's going to hurt. Should take care of these artifacts we've been needing to get rid of. Well, I guess the Locust God still has a few, though. But Alhamret's has been crazy, so that's gone. We lose a bunch of our good things. We're in a terrible spot now. I actually don't know if there's a way for us to recover. Shared Animosity, that kills you in a hurry. So we've got 2 votes for enchantments. Opponent's going to make Insect. Yep. 2 tokens in our way, and the Sphinx in our way. That was going to hurt a bit. Locust God in our way. Opponent's trying to get max card draw, but they don't have any mana left. What is that? That's 29 damage, 40? Opponent's got 40 damage right now. Locust God's at 63, so it's not lethal yet, but there's 13 cards in their hand. And if they can find ways to gain life before combat, then Archangel of Thune could put them over the hump, especially if they can make like 2 more tokens right here. No blocks. We go to 13. Ouch. Regna's going to make 2 creatures at the end step. Okay. Let's see if they have a way through these 4 flyers right here. Austere Command on small creatures would do it. There's a Mana Crypt. Whip of Erebos. That's a card. No creatures in grave currently. Ooh, Lifelink is super relevant, though. Lifelink on everything now. Oh. Opponent's going to backstab us. Opponent says they have the win. I'm not seeing it yet. We go down. Elf opponent goes down. Opponent's things are huge. Opponent's at 103. Oh, Aetherflux Reservoir, maybe? No, opponent passed their turn. Yeah, opponent had an Aetherflux Reservoir, but accidentally passed their turn. We'll see how Cadus wants to play that. They just want to scoop to them or not. Oop, that's a Breath of Fury. Yeah, that goes infinite if opponent doesn't have removal. Great Pact still in play. They can't sacrifice enough at this moment, though, to stop all of that. Coastal Piracy, yep, that's a card. Opponent's going to try to return to dust on the Breath of Fury, but opponent says they have counters. Yep, there's one. There's Mana Drain. Angel's Grace. Angel's Grace would do it. Opponent could draw, though, and if they have Laboratory Maniac, that would be a problem. Opponent's going to sack a bunch of stuff and Great Pact a bunch of times. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Opponent has a bunch of triggers going off. Breath of Fury will trigger, and that will go infinite with no blockers from the Krav and Regna opponent. So opponent finally scoops it right there. I don't know. Tough call. So in paper, Helix has the game, but because they punted on Magic Online, then Cadus has the game. So I don't know. Joint winners, allied victory. Our deck did not perform at all this game. So thoughts right now. The deck is too reactive, I think. I think the deck needs to be more proactive. There's too many things going on at 3 mana. Not enough stuff happening at 2 mana. Maybe needs more creatures. I don't know. The blend on this deck has been off for me lately, and we didn't really generate value or lands. We barely drew this game, so we just didn't do much of anything, really. So I'm going to have to tinker with this a bit more and get some more value generation into the deck. I'm thinking like a Duretti is nice. You can kind of filter out the draws, bring stuff back when you need to. Maybe another Planeswalker. Nahiri wouldn't be awful. I had Ugin in the deck for a minute, but cut it at the last second, just trying to get down to 100 for this video. Yeah, we just need to generate more value. We're not generating value the way we need to be. I'm thinking the creature count's got to go up. Right now, my plan is maybe just make this look a little bit more like Aurelia, and then maybe do like a Sunforger combo against the more higher power meta. But I don't know, I'm gonna have to tinker with this. Yeah, this current build, it's a little too all-in Voltron, I think, especially when there's a lot of removal flying around. In a more battlecruiser setting, that's fine if there's not tons and tons of removal, but yeah, I've kind of gotten into a weird spot with this deck, so gonna have to work on it a little bit. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.